joined us this evening. We're here to just talk about surviving cosplay as a family, or with kids in particular, because it's a little bit of a different ball game than it is with doing it with adults. So we're just kind of open discussion. So it's not a huge crowd, obviously. So if you have any questions, just kind of feel free to throw them up our way. Yeah. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just like how we got into it with our kids. So actually for us, hi, come on in. For us, it started off more that my daughter actually really loved dressing up and really loved coming to the Expo in cosplay. So we kind of like grew as a family of cosplayers from there, because she started off by doing that, and she loves the costume contest. So that's kind of where we got more serious, because she always wanted to be doing the contest, and she likes to win prizes.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of the same in one sense of that. She loved dressing up, but we are normally in haunted houses, so we like the more gory, crazy, insane kind of stuff. But she's always been into superheroes, lots of video games, lots of cartoons, and so we decided to branch out instead of doing all the horror-based stuff to move into comic book stuff, because then it's more mainstream and people know who she is rather than being scared of her.
Yeah, so true. And so I think some of the things, some of the tips we have for people as we've kind of gone through this for now, we've been at it for like 4 years, and I think probably...
Yeah, Farrah's been doing it since she's about a year and a half, 2 years old, and she's now 7. So, I mean, it's been a long road.
Yeah. Sure. She wants to tell you guys something.
I love it.
What? Cosplay. Yeah. One of the things I think we've kind of like, we're not so much good at this as like Ashley's family is, but one of the things is like teach your kid the killer pose, right? Because people want to see kids smiling when they take their picture, and they want to see them kind of like posed up. Olivia's terrible at the pose, and she has the worst fake smile. So
she tries. She tries. My favorite is she always stands like this.
Yeah.
This is her pose.
Because when she really wanted to be Lava Girl, and that's like a Lava Girl thing. So now every pose is Lava Girl, because that's the pose we taught her, and now it just kind of automatically goes to that. But she's trying to do other ones. But yeah, so that's a good one. Farrah's probably way better at that.
Yeah, Farrah's been modeling and doing a lot of different things since she's about 6 months old. So she's very posy, and she actually studies her characters. So when we do, like her Loki, for instance, we Googled Loki, and she picked her favorite poses, and then when we did the photo shoot, we brought those images with us, and she recreated them herself. So for her, she's that type of person. She's very visual, so any character that she does like to dress up as, we kind of do a little bit of backstory and research, so then she's more comfortable, and she always picks it. I never pick them for her, because I've always learned, don't do that, because all it's going to do is make her angry. She's not going to want to do it, and then you never end up with what you want, and it's terrible.
We've often been like asked if we force the kids to do it, and I will tell you, can I share the story about Hit Girl? Okay, so there is no forcing kids to do anything, as we all know. So I had made this really like complicated, elaborate Hit Girl costume for Ollie last year, and on the day of, we couldn't find her proper wig, so we were going to use a replacement wig, and she was pretty upset, and she wasn't going to wear Hit Girl. So I said, okay, fine, you don't have to wear it. We'll go to the con without it. So she goes into her room for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then comes back out, and she says, okay, I'll go as Hit Girl, but I'm not wearing panties. And then everybody she met through the whole day, she told them, I'm not wearing panties, just so you know. Because she felt like that was her way of like sticking it to the man.
Yeah, she was rebelling.
She was rebelling by not wearing her panties, but because she loves to cosplay so much, she didn't want to miss out on the fact of being like not being in cosplay at the con, but she wanted to still kind of be like, no, I'm rebelling against you because you lost my wig. So
yeah, Farrah's had one really bad costume. It was Orko from He-Man, if anybody knows who that is. I did a female version of He-Man, so I called her She-Man, and I made her Orko, which was super comfy. It was like a robe, but then it had like a frisbee rim on it, so it actually stood out, so it looked like she was levitating, and she didn't want to wear it at all. So when we went to Eek, which was local, when we went to Eek, she refused to put it on. I put it on her, I put it like, it just velcroed at the back, and she go, snip, drop it, and run. And I'm like, seriously? Like, I spent 3 days sewing this thing. It was my first big sewing project, which it wasn't really a big sewing project, and she refused to wear it. I think I have 2 pictures of her in that costume ever, and and it drove me nuts because He-Man was one of my favorites. So that was my hard lesson of do not make a costume that you want, make it for her.
Yeah, and I think too, like when they're watching the shows that they love, like she will go, Mom, I think that character would be really cool to cosplay, or that character would be really cool to cosplay.
I love Deku.
Yeah, she loves Deku right now.
My Hero Academia is a big one.
In fact, we'll probably do that on Sunday. And when we first got her suit for that, she slept in it. So there's like, that's the difference, is when they love it, they're going to like really kind of own in onto it. So there's that. One of the other things we found over the last few years is that if we can, and you can have their face painted into the character that they're doing, or at the con, like we had them do My Little Pokemon, that's what it was. Yeah. Pokemon a couple years ago, and they had their face painted. They loved it. So if you can avoid like masks or anything, they would prefer that. So having a face paint instead, right?
Yeah, Farrah's picky. She doesn't like face paint. Like this isn't even face paint, it's lipstick because it doesn't hurt her face, and it's actually one of those like stay-ons. So even if she wipes it, it doesn't really go anywhere. And I find that helps too, because I mean at the end of the day it's a makeup wipe and it's gone. We do false lashes, as you can see, but she's really picky on them too, and she's like a diva, so she's actually wearing a crazy expensive pair of false lashes. They're not necessary, but she really likes looking like she has the big cartoon eyes, so we kind of cave and do what she wants when she wants type thing, but it makes her comfortable and the character is super cute. But things like this, like you guys seen her coming up and being like this, it's because we do have it, like it's like a headband and it clicks, so it's easy to come on and off, but we have bobby pins in and they poke, so every now and then we have to adjust and shift, but other than that, I mean, we try and keep it as comfortable as we can. And wigs.
Yeah, avoid the wigs if you can.
If kids don't like them, don't force. It's not worth it. We've used spray paint stuff for their hair. This year, actually, at Animathon, she did 3 costumes that all had blonde hair to accommodate for the fact that she didn't have to wear a wig, and she loved it. Like, it was the best thing ever. It was comfy. She wasn't overheating because wigs get hot. Right?
And itchy, right, Ollie? They get itchy. Yeah, children under like 8, I'm gonna say probably. That's my guess. Is no wigs, because you'll just be hating life. She tears hers off all the time. She's like, I don't want to wear it anymore. But I do that too, so it's, you know.
Give and take.
Give and take, yeah. I think another thing that we should talk about is props. So with kids, props can make a costume for sure.
Yeah, Farrah, if you guys don't know what character she is Gadget from Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. It's an old cartoon from when I was younger. And this prop is super light. It's made out of cardboard, pink foam, an actual plunger from the dollar store. It does have strings attached, but these are very, very loose, and it's just with yarn, so super cheap. It was probably 20 bucks maximum, and that's with like all the Flex Bond and like primers and things like that to top it off. But she can carry it around all day, and she gets a little annoyed every now and then because crowds and big things and spatial awareness, but she can carry it all day, and it's not an overly big fight.
Another thing that we like to do too for these guys and their props is a lot of times we will cover them in a thermoplastic because they're so rough on things. So when she was Hit Girl, she had the dual blade thing. I don't know what but she was like walking on the con floor, like banging it on the floor. And then her card captor wand, I actually did cosplay flex on the bottom for the bottom gem. So when she walks, she can bang it and it actually bounces.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it breaking, because if I'd done like a plastic gem, it would have been shattered. So it's just something to keep in mind of how they're going to act with the prop or with the costume on, because that's important too.
Yeah, Farrah's had Maui from Moana. She dressed up as Maui last year, and we made her hook. So she has the big Maui hook, but it's all pink foam. There's no thermoplastics, there's no nothing. And she was banging it around, she was standing on it, and it actually held up really well. It's actually here, not here, but at the Cosplay repair booth, if anybody wants to check it out. Feel free, you can pick it up. It's super light. Like, she could walk around, she was carrying it over her shoulder, things like that. I find she's not as rough on things because she really likes her props, so the last thing she wants to do is wreck them. But her swords, I've always covered with a thermoplastic, or I went to the dollar store and got those like pirate swords, and then I redid the handles because they're all like those pool noodles on the inside, so they're super soft and they can bang around and play with them and they're not going to break. But then I would customize the handle to match her costume. So her Wonder Woman one, we made an eagle crest on the handle and then just wrapped it with what's it called? It's the, oh goodness, it's like the first aid tape where it has a little bit of grip on it, and so then she was able to grip it, so if she flung it, she still had it instead of like it flying away, because the dollar store one is really slippery. But yeah, so she's usually pretty good, but thermoplastics is a good thing for ones that they are going to be whipping or have the potential to whip around, right?
Yeah. I think another really good key point for kids is comfort is king.
Yes.
So for these guys, often like when Ollie's picked her outfit or whatever, the first thought I have is, can I make this with soft fabric? How is the fabric going to feel? And will she wear it if it's like, if there's anything poking or anything like that? So I always go to fabric store. It's funny because in the room is Jen, and Jen's always like, oh, you should use this fabric. I'm like, yeah, but how does it feel? I don't care what fabric I'm supposed to use. I need to know how it's going to feel. Because if it's rough, she won't wear it.
Yeah.
Or if it's scratchy, she won't wear it.
Yeah.
And they prefer outfits like this because, as you saw, in between them coming up here to do their bit, they're running around and checking things out and eating. And
yeah, they have the ability to move. Farrah has a couple restricting costumes. I think the one that's been most restricting was your Wonder Woman, right? Because your skirt, you couldn't really sit. I think that one was the stiffest skirt. Which one? Yeah, I would say her Wonder Woman, but I made it out of Maui. Maui is hard to sit down. Oh, the belt? Yeah. So her Maui was made out of leaves from the dollar store, but we had taken cork ribbon and made it as the band. So then that way, when she wanted to sit down, we could just like unvelcro it, take it off, and she could sit. When it came to her Wonder Woman, it was made out of yoga mats. And this is before I knew how to like actually craft things. Yoga mats worked fine. However, her sitting, it would hurt her because it would like pop up in ways it shouldn't. So we've now moved to like vinyl or any like nice soft flowy fabric for skirts. That way she has the ability to sit on them and not hurt herself, because that seems to be an issue.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing I find anyways, for screen accuracy too, is
Yeah.
we can make a lot of our accessories, like belts and earrings and jewelry in general, out of craft foam. So it's a super inexpensive way, and it's lightweight, so they don't even notice them. So these are things like, whereas if it was an adult, you would probably like mold it or cast it or make it, out of metal. But with kids, you want to kind of avoid that altogether, because they're not going to wear it if it's heavy or uncomfortable or thing like that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like Farrah always has to adjust those ears. But like those ears are a bit heavy for her. They are made out of foam, but it's a thicker foam. And they are, because they're so wide on her head, they do droop. So it's trying to find the counterbalance, and because we are only using her hair, you can't back comb a lot for them to stay in because it sits so close to her ears. So it is a little bit of a struggle to get it comfortable for her for a bit, but as soon as she's comfortable with it, she wears it. She wore it at Edmonton from the time we got there to the time we left, and a little bit of complaining at the end, but very little. Like right now, her tail is just filled with like stuffing from an old stuffed animal. So then that way she can just sit and it's not going to get in the way. Like we try and make it as comfy and as easy for them to walk around and not complain about, because they complain a lot.
A lot. Another thing as a family who cosplays is you may notice I have this lovely backpack over here, and please feel free to help yourself to a granola bar if he's allowed. I always pack food and snacks, because kids are better behaved if they've got food in their belly, so there's less whining and less complaining if there's food in their belly, right, Ollie? She is like epic. So we were at the Ghostbusters booth tonight, and she was actually laying on the floor going, I'm so hungry. Like, okay, we're going to get the backpack, we'll get something to eat on the way to our panel. So there we go. So, and we find too, because kids tend to be a little bit of fussier eaters, it's really hard to find good food for them at the con to eat, to kind of keep their levels.
Yeah, not only good food, but the fact that it's so long to wait for the food.
Right.
That they don't have the patience. I don't have the patience, so I don't know why they would have the patience. But so we always try and provide something that's easy, something for them to eat with their hands. I always recommend having hand sanitizer afterwards, of course, because kids are gross. So there's that. As she laughs, I know she's been playing with hand sanitizer all day. So there's that. But yeah, so they eat a lot of finger food, quick, easy things like that. I find too, their costumes make them that you can wash them. please be able to wash your kids' costumes. A lot of the things, like while they're eating with their hands, they're going to wipe it on their pants, they're going to do all these things, and you want to be able to keep the costume as pristine as you can without wrecking it. So if you can wash it, that's ideal. That's what I think anyways.
I think, yeah, exactly. If you can wash it, my kid tends to smell too at the end of the day. You know, they get sweaty in them.
Sweaty
She's like smelling her cast right now. But yeah, I think another thing too that to keep in mind is it's okay for us to join in the fun too.
Absolutely.
And I think that like where we can do Mummy and Me cosplay, I love it.
I can't.
Farrah won't let Ashley do it, but Ollie and I love it. So as you can see, we're in like Ghostbusters tonight, and I, made sure I was okay. I bring her to the booth, and yeah, for sure, as long as she's okay with, doing it. But at the Ghostbusters booth, she started dancing. So then I started dancing. So then the whole team was dancing.
Yeah.
So it's okay to like join in on the fun and
cut loose.
Cut loose, because really we're
Kids.
here to have fun. We're big kids, and we're here to have fun, right?
Yeah, like
I just bit my cheek.
Thanks for sharing.
Farrah doesn't like doing a lot of Mommy and Me cosplays. We have a couple, but like last year we wore Power Girl the same day together, and all I got was get out of my picture, and I'm like, okay. So we try to do Mommy and Me. It's not her thing, and that's cool too. I mean, whatever she wants to wear and she's comfortable with, that's okay. But she does copy a lot of the same characters that I do. So she does have a Raven, she does have a Power Girl, she does have a Wonder Woman. I am making a gadget because she was originally what I wanted to do, but then she decided to do it first. So yeah, we still kind of stay in that realm. We do generally try and dress up in the same realm all the time, so we can answer the same questions or be in group shots. My boyfriend is actually Batman. So when I dress up as Wonder Woman, she dresses up as Catwoman, and he dresses up as Batman. So we're like a cute little family, and it's super fun. Tons of great pictures and all around goodness. No? No, I'm lying. All right.
Another thing I just want to touch on, we make a lot of our cosplays, but honestly, quite often it's less expensive to buy them. So case in point would be the suit she's wearing here. I bought it from Spirit Halloween, and it was on sale 20% off, $31.99. So it ended up costing me like $27.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made the suit for that amount of money. So with kids, because they grow so much, it's okay to buy a costume and alter it or add your own touches.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I always like do the, I'm not as good at this as Ashley is, but I'll do the like, what is cheaper or faster for me to do? Is it cheaper or faster for me to make it?
Yeah.
Or because they are going to wear them, like roll on the floor. And
Ollie grows like a weed.
She does. So Ollie is 6, but wears a size 10.
And Farrah's 4, or 4. She's 7 and wearing a size 4.
So unfortunately, my kid just keeps sprouting. So everything she wears, it's like 1, maybe 2 wears. So a lot of times, like purchasing it is actually a better option for me, unless it's something I can't recreate. Like, hey girl, I couldn't have purchased that. But yeah.
But yeah, so I find that we find dollar store things like that. Really look at your character, because there's so many different versions of everything. So it doesn't have to be screen accurate, especially with a little one. I mean, close enough people will recognize them, and everybody loves kids in costumes. Like seriously, it's like the biggest thing. Walking from the bathroom to here, she got stopped way too many times, especially with props. Props are great for kids, so I mean, if they'll handle them, I say go big or go home.
Yeah.
Like Ollie with her proton pack today.
Yeah, Ollie has and the proton pack actually was purchased a couple of years ago when the reboot movie came out, and they had them at Walmart, and we just kept it because it was originally bought for me. I'm not gonna lie, because I love the Ghostbusters, but we just kept it, and then she'd play with it, and her friends would come over, they play with it, and then when we joined Alberta Ghostbusters, I was like, I'm gonna alter the pack so it actually looks more realistic. So I just like painted it so it looked realistic. That's it.
Yeah, add your own little flair. There's nothing wrong with retouching things you've purchased versus making them from scratch at all. And honestly, reach out for help. If you know people who cosplay or people who make things, ask. I bug her all the time. Jen is like a huge thing that I bug all the time. A thing. I'm sorry, I called you a thing. Love you. And then I bug Colin too all the time about things where I just get frustrated. I'm like, I can't get this to work. And I've used paper. Like Farrah's Raven bells. So mine are clay. and curtain rings that you put like into hanging curtains. And hers are actually craft paper. So I bought scrapbooking paper and I just made 2 circles, I glued them together, and I put fishing line, it's done. And that's it. And it's fine. It works perfectly fine. It's thick paper and it doesn't bend. You're okay.
I think too, one of the cool things that we found over the last few years is that cosplaying as a family, cosplaying with kids, is we've gotten to know other kids on the con floor. So now it's like one big party. So like today, it's like you run into a family and you're like, oh, hey, Ollie's over at the booth, or Farrah's over at the booth. Oh, we're heading there now. Okay, the kids are going to run together. And they're kind of like the bigger kids are watching out for the little kids, and the little kids are running around like crazy. And they're having a really good time at the con. So now, where when we first started, it was like by the end of the day they were done. They wanted to go home, and they were just like, we're grouchy. Whereas now we're finding that they're like, no, I don't want to leave, or can Farrah come sleep over? Or, you know, like it's like, okay, you guys have just spent 3 days together. Like you think you wouldn't want that anymore, but they are loving it more now that we've gotten to know more families, and more families are getting involved.
Yeah, and I find that too. A lot of the people in the cosplay community recognize the kids right away. So I was working the cosplay repair booth, and Farrah was there with me, and she noticed people like down the hall, and she's like, I know who they are. I'm like, I know who you are. Like, go. So she'd go and she'd bring them back, and then they would stand and talk with her. They've asked to take her for walks and things like that, and because everybody knows her and I trust these people, it's nice where if I'm working or I'm busy and I can't do something, they will take her. Jen took Ollie for me today to the bathroom because I couldn't leave the booth. So I mean, it's nice to have that reach, and because the kids are so good with this type of thing and at the con and with the con situation, that it's nice and easy, I find anyways.
I find too, one of the most interesting things is that I've been cosplaying for a lot longer, but nobody knows me.
Right?
And so I'll be like, I'm Glenn, and they'll be like, oh, hi, and I'll be like, I'm Ollie's mom, and they're like, oh, Ollie's mom!
Yeah, Farrah's had lots of fans over me.
Yeah, so I always laugh that she has more fans than me, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, Farrah's actually went around all the cosplayers at the area already today and asked to trade prints.
Oh, super cute.